Welcome to Moving to Hampton Roads. Today's video is all about Eagle Harbor, the premier subdivision in Carrollton. My name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Before we head into the neighborhood, I do want to talk a little bit about what is Eagle Harbor and what's Carrollton. So Carrollton is a small town that's part of Isle of Wight County, and it's located right across the James River Bridge from Newport News. This makes it really convenient for anybody who's working at the Newport News Shipyard, or maybe you're stationed at Langley Air Force Base. It is pretty much a straight shot from here to there. Now, it also means you can pick up Route 17 and cut down through Suffolk and go all the way to, say, Norfolk or even Virginia Beach, though the beach would be a pretty far commute, but you can really get anywhere from here. It is a little out of the way, and you'll kind of find that outside of Eagle Harbor and what we're going to see today, there isn't a whole lot going on in the immediate vicinity of Carrollton. So you get through Eagle Harbor, you find in some other residential neighborhoods, and then you start getting into farms, and you see cotton farms and corn and the occasional llama farm if you keep driving a little bit. So, this is an area that is a little bit more rural than pretty much the rest of Hampton Roads. But that's one thing that people really like about it, is that it isn't nearly as busy once you're through Eagle Harbor as a lot of the other areas. Now, this subdivision is over 500 homes, nearly 550 homes. And it's a combination of single family, pretty much larger single family homes, and condos. So there are going to be those two options there. And then within the community, there are shopping and restaurants that we can talk about as well. So it's great because when you're in this community, there's a large plaza right in front of the community that has a Food Lion, coffee shop, pizza place, Mexican restaurant, and a whole bunch of other things. So it's really very convenient that you can get some of those must-haves just as you really pull right out of your community. And then across the street, there's a great 7-Eleven gas station. You've got a tropical smoothie and a couple other restaurants across the street, a really nice Rite-Aid, so you have a pharmacy in the community. And then there's a couple other things like a Sonic and Dunkin' Donuts and things like that. So you really do have quite a bit going on right here in the community. All right, so let's get into the neighborhoods a little bit and start taking a walk around. All right, we're going to start in the original part of the neighborhood where they started building around 2003. And they finished up this section in 2010. So you're looking at early 2000 builds for pretty much every house in here. Now, what we're going to see are mostly going to be, on average, say a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2,500 square foot house. That'd be pretty typical for this neighborhood. And so with here, there is an $85 a month HOA due across the board for all 500 plus homes in the community. Now, the condos have a higher due, but this neighborhood is just the 85. And I'm sure you saw when we were at the intro that there are amazing pools here. So they have several pools with a little water park. There's mini golf, great playground for the kids. There's the pond and even has a little fishing pier on it and walking trails. So you do, I think, get a whole lot for just that $85 a month fee. And, we're coming up here on one of the most recent homes that sold and one of the most expensive. So 13128 Lighthouse, this sold for $483, and it's 4 beds, 3 full baths, and over 3,000 square feet. So when I say up to 500, I think that 483 is actually the highest in the neighborhood to sell anytime recently, and it just closed. So that is a great that's a great example of what is selling here in this neighborhood. So 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,000 square feet in this part of the neighborhood, probably on the high side of normal. In this neighborhood altogether, in all of Eagle Harbor, you are going to find single family homes that range between about 1,800 all the way up to, there's a couple that are in the 5,000s, but the vast majority are between 2,000 and 4,000 square feet. So the thing I like about this neighborhood is that for our area, this is pretty new. We have a lot of people that come looking for new construction, and we're very limited on new construction. So to get something that's been built in the 2000s that isn't like early 90s, this is a great opportunity. So here we have a little bit of a smaller one, 13104. This recently sold for $430,000. So a little bit different layout, a little bit smaller. Get a good view of it there. And And so 4 beds, 2.5 baths. So another really nice, beautiful home on a little bit of the smaller side for this neighborhood. So it's really great that you're going to have your options, but for the most part, you're looking at very traditional layouts, maybe a little bit more open than you would get in some slightly older neighborhoods. Like if you go to the 90s, they're going to be a little bit more closed off. So these are opened up a little bit, but they're not going to be the big wide open spaces. They're not going to be crazy open, but they're going to be pretty good, very functional, more modern sort of feel, but maybe not what you would get if you built a house today. I hope that makes sense. So somewhere in between, and you're going to get good quality construction in a great neighborhood. So this is a pretty big area. So what I want to do is hop in the car. We'll drive around a little bit so you can get a better feel for the whole thing. All right, well, now we're in another part of Eagle Harbor called Chart House. And this part is really cool. It's not very big. There's maybe about 70 houses or so in the whole neighborhood within Eagle Harbor. But you can see it's neat. They've got some more like craftsman style homes, and it's just a different vibe than the other part that we just came from. So the homes in here can range in price. In fact, some of the smaller homes here, you can get down into the kind of like high 300s on price point, and then something closer to like the mid 400s would be more typical. So we've seen a couple of homes here sell for, say, in the 430,000s recently. But just what you can see, you do get a little bit more modern stonework on the front, and some of them even have kind of a Tudor type of feel to them. Not like this one, but it's really interesting that you can see there's just a much different sort of feel to the homes and a much different design. So I'm gonna get this guy turned around real quick, because so this one, for example, right here, this sold for 430,000, and it's a 4-bed, 2.5 bath home, and it's 22,252. There's a lot of twos in there. Chart house. So it's a really great example of what is selling in here and what is available. And one of the things I like is the cul-de-sacs throughout the neighborhood all have are all finished off with landscaping, so you're not going to just get people just parking their cars and just filling up the cul-de-sac with cars. You really can't do that here. So it's really nice. It's a small part of the neighborhood, very unique sort of feeling, and just a really cool place to, if you can get into this part. Now, the homes might be a little bit smaller. So like that home that sold was about 2,300, 2,200 square feet. I think it's exactly like 2,269. And so when you're looking at that, you might not get, you're not going to get the 3,500 square foot house in this neighborhood, but you're going to get a really solid home, and it probably has some cool character. I don't know, pretty neat part of the neighborhood. So again, this part is called Chart House. Alrighty, well, now we're in Graystone, and this is the newer part of Eagle Harbor, and most of these homes were built between about 2010 and 2017, so you can get some actually pretty new stuff in here. And most of the homes here are going to be larger, so a lot more homes in the 3,000 to 4,000 square foot range, and they skew a little bit more expensive. So for example, this home here, 13,300 Windsong. We have a couple on Windsong we're going to take a look at. This sold recently for 500,000, and it's 3,339 square feet, 4 beds, 2.5 baths. So, this is a nice big home, a lot of square footage, and pretty recently built. So, I think that's really what you're going to get by coming over to Graystone, is you do get a little bit more size. You're going to get a bigger home. You're going to get something a little newer. And that's really what people are going for here. So 13,292 we're coming up on. This one, it's a little bit smaller. It's just under 3,000 square feet, but sold for $485. So it's in the 2,900 square foot range. Sold for $45. So these are going to be some pretty typical size ranges for this neighborhood and price points. And you know, I think that the average buyer in this community is really someone who's just looking for a little bit more square footage. I think most people that come to Eagle Harbor are okay kind of being far away from things. So if you want to be near a Target or a Walmart, you're going to have to go to Newport News. You're going to have to go down to Suffolk. You want to go to a good movie theater, same sort of situation. Carrollton doesn't have any of that. So, you know, if you're okay with being, you know, either willing to commute or ordering a lot on Amazon, just order stuff on Amazon and you'll be fine. But if you're really looking to be around a whole lot of things, a ton of shops and restaurants and things like that, I mean, it's great that they have some kind of like right here in the community. But outside of that, then you're going up to Smithfield, which is great. You know, it's a quick shot up to Smithfield, where there are some great little restaurants and stuff. But if you want to be 2 minutes away from anything, that's just not what you're going to get here. But you are going to get a nice big home, significantly less than where you would pay if you were in Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, York County. I mean, these homes would all be $100,000 or more higher than they are here. So you give a little to get kind of a lot, I think. So, all right, so this is Graystone. This is a big neighborhood. Again, I want to jump in the car and drive around here a little bit so you can get a good feel for the whole section. Okay, and this is going to take us to our first condo community in Eagle Harbor. This is called Bridgewater, and these are clusters, so you're going to have about 6 units per building, and these are condo ownership. And the HOA due here is going to be a total of $345. So a little bit more expensive, but it does have nice things like its own pool, which is right over here. So I actually have a client in 1101 over there, and she can just walk right out and head into the very beautiful pool in this community. So what you're going to find here are some single-story and some two-story units. They're going to range from about 1,250 to about 1,550 square feet, and most of them are 2 beds, 2.5 baths, something like that. There's a couple of 3 bedrooms, and there's a couple of just 2 bed, 2 baths. And then you're going to see price ranges from the low to mid 2s in this part of the neighborhood. In a minute, we're actually going to head to another part of this same subdivision, or excuse, same neighborhood within Eagle Harbor with a little bit different style. But here, you know, you have deeded parking spaces, so no garages. And so a good example of a recent sale might be 1404 Rivers Arch. This is a 2-bed, 2.5 bath, 1,375 square foot home that sold for $220,000, and that's going to be really right in the the median for what you're going to get in this great little neighborhood. And so this is just a less expensive way to get into Eagle Harbor. Okay, now we're in the other part of Bridgewater, and these homes are really cool. Again, they have that Tudor style, which I think is really fun for this area. We don't see it a whole lot. But these homes, as you can see, they have garages, so that's pretty neat. And they are going to be a little bit higher in price point. So what you're going to get in each building is either going to be 2 or 4 homes. You have a garage, and that's great. And then some of these are actually single story and some are 2-story. So there are going to be quite a few different options for you here. And again, the sizes can range from about 1,250 up over 1,900 square feet. So for example, there is a home near that we're walking by right now. This was a 3-bed, 2-bath home, 1,900 square feet, sold for $260. So you're going to spend a little bit more in this neighborhood. So, you know, you're going to spend maybe $20,000 or $30,000 more on average to be in here than in the other part of the neighborhood. But you know what? You get that garage. Instead of being connected with 6 people, you might only be with 1 other person. So it's got a little bit different feel, especially with not having all the quite as much street parking. So since everybody has kind of their own driveway. So just another option here, the other part of Bridgewater. All right, well, we're going to finish up across the street from the main part of Eagle Harbor in the 2 condo communities of Woodbridge and Lighthouse. They're very similar communities. So we're walking around Woodbridge right now, and I love the feel of these. They're big and open, and I like the exteriors a lot too. They remind me almost more of like a Cape Cod style home with a lot of dormers and like shingle siding and things like that. So really kind of a cool neighborhood. Association dues in here are a little expensive. They're about $380 a month. But you know, what I do like about them is that most of them are pretty big. They start around like 1,500 square feet, but they do go up to around like 2,400 square feet. And some of them are single story and others are 2-story. So each one of these buildings you see is either going to have 3 or 4 units connected to it, and they all have their own driveways and garages. So really just a nice space here. And it's got a nice open feeling to it. It's kind of got a bright, fresh feel to it as well. And so we've got a unit that sold at 13286 Regent Park Walk, and that sold for $303,000. And that's actually going to be just back there right now. You know, that's 2,000 square feet, 4 beds, 2.5 baths. So really just that was one of the more expensive homes in the area, but most of what you're seeing between the 2 neighborhoods are going to be in the, you know, $275,000 to $305,000 range. And then you got the association due on top of it. Now, we are walking around Woodbridge right now. Lighthouse is very, very similar, but it's a pretty big neighborhood. So what I want to do is let's get in the car. Let's drive a little bit around here. We'll drive through Lighthouse real quick as well, so you can kind of get a little feel for that, even though it's practically the same. And you can see them both, and then we'll be done for the day. Well, there you go. That is Eagle Harbor. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave those below and we'll respond to them as soon as possible. Of course, my contact information is below as well, so you can always just reach out to me directly. And I'll put some links in the description as well for home searches in all of Eagle Harbor and the various subdivisions, depending on what you're looking for. Of course, my team and I are on standby waiting to help. So do me a favor and like this video, subscribe to this channel, and then share this with anyone else you know who could be moving to the Hampton Roads area. My name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Thanks so much for watching.